Hello, I am Colleen Burns, the creator of Your Life Matters Anti-Bullying Foundation. In this video, I will be sharing with you my life story of bullying and why I created Your Life Matters Anti-Bullying Foundation. This is video like number 3 or 4 version of this video because I have done a video prior to this which is aptly the same name, Martial Arts Saved Me, because basically martial arts saved my life. But I didn't start martial arts until later on in life after the bullying ended. But here it goes nothing. This is like version number 3 or 4 or something like that of Martial Arts Saved Me. There is a school in which I went to up in West Rutland, Vermont called West Rutland High School. When I went there, it was one whole entire school. It was in kindergarten, elementary, middle school, and high school combined. And in this school, I went through pure hell and through pure torture while I was in this school. There were 3 bullies that I had to endure, one in elementary, one in middle school, and one in high school, to the point where I tried to kill myself several times. I OD'd on speed, I was doing drugs, I was doing alcohol. Well, the only drug that I did was speed, but I mixed it with alcohol trying to kill myself. Tried to put a pair of scissors to myself, didn't exactly work. I was hospitalized once for the speed that I took when combined with the alcohol, and I was hospitalized again when I passed out in the shower and taken to the hospital. I think I was about maybe 13 or 14 years old. I don't exactly remember. It was a black period in my life. I call it the black period because I don't remember much of it. But in elementary school, there was this one girl who bullied me in the cafeteria, basically telling me and calling me I was fat and 4 eyes and every other name in the book that you could possibly think of when you are fat, because I was pretty fat. And because of this one girl, that was my downhill slide to silence. And never talking to anyone. Now, I come from a military family. Name it, I'm related to it. State trooper. Well, I don't know if he's still a state trooper, but at one point my uncle was a state trooper. My father was in the Army, my brother is in the Marines, my sister's in the Air Force. I have another sister who I don't talk to because she hit me. Mother wasn't really that much of a mother when I was in my teenage years. She basically told me that I was a miracle baby and that I should never been born. Father hit me, told me I wouldn't amount to anything because I was doing speed and alcohol. I have a stepbrother who's a Navy SEAL, another stepbrother who's a firefighter, Coast Guard, name it, I'm related to it. So I grew up in a really strict household, and I only met my step-family only once, which was in the 1990s, when I was a little bit older, after all the hell I went through. This was after high school, during my college years, that my mother remarried to an Army person who worked for the CIA, in which he and I did not get along with each other. I only met my stepfamily only once. They all seemed pretty cool. But that was in my later years. But name it, I'm related to it. So anyways, just a little background on me so you can understand where Your Life Matters Anti-Bullying Foundation was adopted and came from. In middle school, there was another girl who basically berated me, told me I was nothing. She got other people to join in on her on picking on me and calling me names. And then when middle school changed into high school, this girl came from out of nowhere. She moved to West Rutland, I guess, or Rutland, or wherever the hell she lived. And this was the worst bully of all, because she would put rolled up maxi pads in the hole of my locker. She would take my glasses off and throw them on the floor. I remember at one point she slammed me into my locker. Not much I can remember, because it was my black period from doing speed and alcohol because of this one girl, because that's how bad it was. And I was trying to kill myself of it, because I felt no one understood me. I felt nobody loved me. The worst feeling in the world. And I knew that if I couldn't get out of there in that situation, that I would end up dying, because I would have somehow in some way killed myself, and I would never be alive to this day. I share my story in hopes that it helps other people know that you are not the only ones who have been through bullying. And I know that during these times, in this day and age, that the bullying has gotten worse to the point where people are doing worse things than what had happened to me when I was going through my school period dealing with bullies. In order for me to get out of that situation, I was either die or be gone. So I chose to be gone. And I transferred to a private parochial school where I met people from that school when I was in the hospital, because there were teen volunteers there. I remember when I was in the hospital, I was read my last rites. I do remember that part. And in that room, there was a guy. His name was Kurt Clarkson. And he basically became the father I never had. He helped me get through a lot. He helped me get through worst times of my life, because he had me become one of the teen volunteers, because he was the supervisor of it. And while I was doing my volunteer time there, I met some really cool people who went into this private parochial school, which is where I told the mother that I wanted to go there to get the hell out of West Rutland, because I couldn't stand West Rutland. If I stayed there, I would die. I would kill myself. So I was transferred to the private parochial school where there were no more bullies, and they were my friends. And during my time there, I really enjoyed it. And I met some really good friends who are still friends to this day. And you know who you are. I only lasted at this private parochial school for 2 years during my 10th and 11th grade. But during the 11th grade, something happened to where I was held back, and I didn't like it. I had gotten mononucleosis. I was out of school for about 3 months, and they wanted to hold me back, and I didn't like it. So I was like, well, if I can't graduate with my friends, then I'm quitting. And yeah, my mother really loved me for that. Not. That was another hellish period of my life, but part of my life that I actually do remember. So I quit high school with 2 other girls. We were known as the Three Musketeers. So us Three Musketeers, we all ended up getting our GED together because I was looking to go to a music school, the University of New Haven, down in New Haven, Connecticut. And we all got our GEDs together. And after I got my GED and I applied to UNH, they won't let me in because they said that my GED was not enough hours because of my basic classes, core classes, didn't have enough hours or something of the sort. So I had to put myself through 15 weeks of adult education to get my high school diploma so I could go to the University of New Haven to get into their music program. That was in 1992 when I ended up down there. And I was only there for a year. And after that year, I couldn't afford to go back. So I had to eventually go back up to Vermont and live with the stepfather of hell and the mother. And that didn't last long. So then I ended up getting the hell out of Vermont. And I found myself in Raleigh, North Carolina. I moved out of Vermont in '96 with no intentions of going back. And I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, and I lived there for about 2.5 years. And then I moved from there to Boone, North Carolina to go to college. And to make a long story short, from being bullied in elementary, middle school, and high school, to the point where I wanted to kill myself because I felt like nobody understood me and nobody ever loved me, I was introduced to martial arts by my boss, who I used to work with over at ITC at App State University. His name was Stephen Ferguson. And I always love him for introducing me to martial arts because it saved me. I went to Tuhan Rick Ward's Blue Ridge Kung Fu Artist Academy in Boone, North Carolina. And I was there throughout my time while I was in Boone, up until about 2005. And then I had to stop because I didn't exactly have the money and I was having issues with the school. So I had to stop martial arts for a while. And then I ended up moving in 2007 and went to Roanoke, Virginia for Hollins University because I got into screenwriting program for graduate school. And so fast forward another 10 years. And to make this section a little bit shorter, I am now a red belt in Taekwondo with 5 other rankings in Slum Kung Fu, Emperor's Long Fist, Kali, Kickboxing, and Robson Mora Jiu-Jitsu. The highest ranking, though, is in Taekwondo, which is a red belt, and 1 belt away from the probationary black belt. And during my martial art years, which is many years after of being bullied, of never feeling accepted, never feeling loved, and because of the bullies and the torment that they did to me when I was in my younger years, I can finally say that I feel like I'm doing something well with my life. To be able to help others who have been bullied, I'm sure much worse than what I have been through. But I know that feeling, to never feel alone, to never feel loved, to never feel accepted, to be rejected by people who are mean to you. And the best thing that you can do for yourself, should you feel no one ever loves you or understands you or accepts you, stand up for what's right. Do not be silent. Speak up for yourself and defend yourself. And if you don't know how, well, that's what martial arts is for. Trust me, it will help save you. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. And the best person that you never thought was inside of you will be born. You will feel that you are born again into a whole new person. And it will make you feel completely new person like you have never felt before. Because that's what martial arts did for me, and I hope it would do for you should you decide to learn and train in martial arts. And that is why martial arts saved me, and I hope martial arts, should you decide to train in martial arts, will save you. And this is part of the mission of the Your Life Matters Anti-Bullying Foundation. So bear with me with all these tears, but I can't help it. I just wanted to share with you this version because I was told that the other martial arts Save Me versions were a bit old and it was hard to hear me and hard to understand and the lighting was really bad. Which is why it's time to redo the video. I knew I was going to be crying and I had to take off my glasses and you're probably wondering, who is this person talking to me right now? Because you don't recognize me without the glasses, but trust me, it is me, Colleen Burns, Coach Colleen Burns. And from my heart to yours, here at Your Life Matters Anti-Bullying Foundation, we care for you because your life matters.